At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve, it's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're setting off on, well, a bit of a journey ourselves, looking for wisdom where you might not expect it. We're diving into this really beautiful story called The Traveler and the Whispering Tree. And we've got some fantastic source material excerpts from the book, plus insights into the author, Dr. Hsu-Chen Hou, and her company, Kokoshungsan Ltd.
Exactly. And our goal here really is to kind of pull out the life wisdom that's woven into this narrative. Why does it matter for us, right now?
Yeah, and who is the person behind it all?
Right. We're exploring how maybe, just maybe, some of the most important answers aren't found where we usually look. This story suggests something quite different.
So let's start with Eldrin. He's our lone traveler. The story paints this picture, footsteps soft on the mossy path, each pace measured and deliberate.
You can almost feel that quietness.
Totally. He's following these old legends of a tree that could answer the deepest questions of the heart. He's searching.
Driven by something deep inside.
And then he arrives before this, single ancient oak, its trunk wide as a house, just massive branches like arms reaching up.
Wow, quite an image.
So he kneels down, full of hope, and he whispers, "Great tree, I seek knowledge. Will you speak with me?"
And his question is just so fundamental, isn't it?
It really is. Tell me who I am and show me the path I should walk. I mean, who hasn't felt that?
Exactly. He wants clarity.
Yeah.
A direct answer.
But that's not what he gets. Not at first.
No. And that's what's fascinating right away. The story says, for a long moment, only silence answered. That silence, it immediately challenges his whole expectation. It signals that this isn't going to be a simple Q&A session. Wisdom works differently here.
You can feel his frustration building, right? He presses his hand against the bark, sighs, and asks, "Do you not wish to help me?" Almost pleading.
Yeah, like, come on, isn't what you do.
And the tree's response, so subtle, a single leaf just floats down onto his shoulder.
Not exactly the booming voice he might have hoped for.
No. But it is communication, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just different.
Absolutely. And then comes the tree's first real statement, though it's less spoken, more felt. Not all wisdom comes spoken. Some truths lie beneath words, waiting to be felt.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit, because we live in such a noisy world, right? Answers everywhere, shouted, tweeted, summarized.
Constantly.
Information overload. So how often do we stop and think that maybe the really important stuff, the deep truths, are actually found in the quiet, in the silence?
It's a huge question the story raises. Are we actually listening, or are we just, waiting for the next soundbite, the next instruction?
Yeah, waiting for the words.
And this story suggests that real wisdom, genuine insight, it bubbles up when we stop trying to force it, when we just allow, when we become receptive.
It's not just about absence of noise then. It's more active.
I think so. It's about presence. It's about tuning in, not just tuning out the noise. It requires patience.
And Eldrin, he seems to get this fairly quickly, which is interesting. He sits back, the story says, considers this strange idea.
He asks, how do I find these truths if words fail me?
And again, silence. So what does he do?
He closes his eyes. And he starts listening differently. Not for words, but for the faint hum of life around him.
The drip of sap, the slow creak of branches, all those tiny sounds.
Exactly. And as he does that, his heartbeat slows, his mind growing still. He finds an inner quiet.
And that's when something happens, right? The tree changes.
Yes. When he opens his eyes, the trunk is shimmering with faint golden light. It's like the tree is responding to his shift in awareness.
Wow.
And then comes the first riddle, a test of this new listening. I have no voice yet speak to all. I hold no shape yet form your world. What am I?
Okay, so he thinks wind, water, fire, things that have power but no voice.
Right, the obvious external forces, but they don't feel right to him.
He has to go deeper.
Yeah. It's only when he kneels again, closes his eyes, lets the riddle just sit in that stillness,
that he gets it. He whispers the answer.
which is
silence.
Perfect, isn't it? Because silence was the method he used to find the answer.
Ah, that's clever.
The tree confirms it, and an acorn, warm and pulsing, falls into his hand. The tree says, silence is both question and answer. From silence, understanding grows.
So the acorn is like a physical representation of that silent understanding.
Exactly. It's the seed of potential that grows in that quiet space. It's not just about having a quiet moment. It's about what can bloom within that quiet, inner stillness, intuition.
Okay, so he's got the acorn. He's had this breakthrough about silence, but he's not done. He feels this curiosity.
Right. He wants more. He asks, show me more, wise tree. Teach me to listen.
And he spends the whole night there by a campfire, just holding the acorn, absorbing the sounds of the forest, his own breath, really practicing.
He's actively engaging with this new way of being. And then the tree offers another riddle.
What's this one?
Listen without looking. See without sight. What is the seed of growth?
Okay, so listen without looking, see without sight. Seed of growth.
It pushes him beyond just observing the world to, understanding the inner engine of development.
He thinks about roots, physical growth again at first.
Naturally. But then he feels something else, something deeper. Curiosity, wonder, humility.
Ah, so it's not about knowing things already.
No. He realizes growth comes from openness, from willingness to learn, not from certainty.
And the answer is?
Curiosity.
And the tree confirms it.
Absolutely. With warmth and another gift, a small sprig of leaves that glows faintly. The tree tells him, curiosity wakes the mind. Hold it close, and you will never be lost.
Wow. So growth isn't about having the answers, it's about the asking, the seeking.
Precisely. It flips the script on our usual obsession with knowing everything, with being certain. True growth is in the process, fueled by that open-minded questioning.
That really hits home, doesn't it? How often do we stop asking questions because we feel like we should already know, or we're afraid to look like we don't?
All the time. Especially maybe in professional settings. Admitting you don't know can feel risky.
Yeah. But this story says wisdom isn't some endpoint you reach. It's the journey itself, powered by curiosity, like being a perpetual student.
It challenges us to be okay with not knowing, to see questions as opportunities, not weaknesses. It's about finding comfort in the question.
So Eldrin leaves the tree, and he's changed. The story says his pace was altered. He's more attentive, noticing the little things.
He's embodied the lessons. When doubt creeps in, he remembers some answers are felt, not spoken. He finds his center in that inner quiet.
And he carries the acorn and the sprig, these symbols of silence and curiosity.
But then comes a really crucial part. What does he do with his wisdom?
Right, it's not just for him. He finds a young woman in a village crying, overwhelmed with her own questions.
And he doesn't give her advice, does he? He doesn't tell her what to do.
No. He just kneels, puts the acorn and the sprig in her hand, and says, listen, for wisdom often comes in silence.
He gives her the tools. He empowers her to find her own answers.
And she feels the warmth, closes her eyes, and understands. She finds her own clarity.
It's such a powerful moment. True understanding leads to helping others find their own way, not just telling them yours.
So Eldrin carries these lessons forever. Patience, curiosity, deep listening, finding truth in the spaces between words, in the quiet moments.
His journey shows the power of that quiet self-discovery. And it raises that question for us. What do we do with the wisdom we gain? How do we share it effectively?
And that spirit of empowerment, of sharing the tools for self-discovery, that connects so beautifully to the author behind this story, Dr. Hsu-Chen Hou.
Yes, absolutely. Her own story is quite remarkable. Dr. Hou started, deeply immersed in the world of science.
Right, a world often about concrete data, explicit answers.
Exactly. But then she gracefully embraced her passion for music, becoming a music lover, a writer, and eventually the founder of Kokoshungsan Ltd.
That's quite a shift. It's like her own journey mirrors Eldrin's in a way, listening to an inner calling maybe beyond the expected path.
I think that's a great way to put it. It shows that brilliance isn't confined to one box, right? She blended this analytical side with a deep appreciation for art, for story, for emotion.
And that blend seems core to her company, Kokoshungsan Ltd.
Definitely. It was founded on this powerful belief that knowledge can change destinies, and education has the power to change the world.
It's about empowering people through knowledge, giving them the tools, much like Eldrin gave the woman the acorn and sprig.
Precisely. The mission is to break down barriers to education, to provide access for those who lack it. Dr. Hsu saw that potential is lost when people don't have the resources to learn.
So Kokoshungsan aims to be that platform for personal growth for anyone, anywhere.
Providing those seeds of knowledge, you could say, empowering individuals to cultivate their own wisdom.
Even the name Kokoshungsan has story, doesn't it?
It does. It symbolizes education unlocking doors. And it's inspired by her parents, her mother fostering art and imagination, her father championing education.
So it brings together that art, knowledge, and growth.
Beautifully intertwined. And what began small with ebooks had really grown. Well, now it's a global digital platform. They offer ebooks, audiobooks, online courses, podcasts, even English learning for kids. It's quite comprehensive.
But it's not just about personal development, is it? There's a bigger social impact goal.
Yes, that's key. They're actively promoting education accessibility, advocating for social equity, supporting sustainable development.
So when you engage with their materials, you're not just learning yourself, you're kind of contributing to this larger movement.
Exactly. It's a movement for global change.
Right.
Each interaction supports broader access to education, environmental protection, a more equitable world. It echoes Eldrin sharing his wisdom to help others grow.
So wrapping up our deep dive into The Traveler and the Whispering Tree, the big takeaways really seem to be the power of silence, not just as quiet, but as a space for answers.
And the absolute necessity of curiosity, that constant willingness to ask, to learn, to be open.
And that core idea that the deepest truths often aren't shouted, they're felt, they're found in the spaces between words, as the story says.
Yeah, in the quiet moments.
So the final thought for you listening, as you go about your own life, dealing with your own questions.
How can you maybe consciously make space for that silence? How can you nurture your own curiosity to uncover those truths that aren't being spoken aloud, both around you and, maybe more importantly, within you?
Could Eldrin's journey offer a different way to approach the things you're grappling with?
Something to reflect on, definitely.
If this resonated, we really recommend checking out The Traveler and the Whispering Tree. And exploring more from Dr. Hsu-Chen Hou and Kokoshungsan Ltd. could be really valuable. You can find more info on the book and all the amazing work they're doing over at kokoshungsan.net. That's KOKOSHUNGSAN.net.
When the storm clouds gather and the winds grow strong, remember who you are, you've been brave all along. In the darkest moments when hope feels thin, look inside your heart, let the light within begin. Rise above it all, let your spirit soar, break through the chains, open every door, stand tall, don't be afraid to fall. You have the power to rise above it all. When the world feels heavy and the nights are long, hold on to your dreams, find where you belong. Every step you take brings you closer to the light. Keep moving forward with all your might. Rise above it all, let your spirit soar, break through the chains, open every door. And the nights are long, hold on to your dreams, find where you belong. Every step you take brings you closer to the light. Keep moving forward with all your might. When you face a doubt, hold your head up high. You are stronger than you know. Let your heart be strong. The journey is your own, where you belong. With love and courage you'll find your way. Tomorrow's a new dawn. Embrace today. heavy and the nights are long. Hold on to your dreams, find where you belong. Every step you take brings you closer to the light. Keep moving forward with all your might.